Dear students, I hope all of you are doing good. In the last session, we have discussed regarding the concept of recruitment. I hope you have clear with that concept. Recruitment is nothing but searching for the suitable candidates in the organization. Okay, so in that recruitment we have two sources of recruitment. We have two sources of recruitment, that is internal sources of recruitment as well as external sources, and we have discussed the both internal sources as well as the external sources. And in today's session I will discuss regarding the concept of selection, because we have already seen in the staffing process. Okay, so staffing process ali one of the processes recruitment, we have discussed about that, and the next is selection. So what is the selection? Selection in the sense direct agi ಅವರು ಅವರಿಗೊಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಅಥವಾ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ವೆದರ್ ಹಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಜಾಬ್ ಆರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಚೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. Okay, so it is nothing but selecting and choosing the best person out of the prospective candidates, because when you go for this recruitment, because mainly in internal source of recruitment the employees who are working in the organization only they will apply, but in case of external source of recruitment, as I already discussed, like direct recruitment, advertisement, web publishing, campus recruitment, so there will get many number of candidates. So out of that we have to select, we have to choose only the prospective candidates who are suitable for that job. Okay, so the next process is selection. So selection is nothing but we are going to choose, or we are going to select the prospective candidate for the job, which is very much important, because when we have a vacancy only for 2 posts, but we have nearly 40 number of applicants. So what we can do, we have to select the prospective candidates, because it mainly depends, because the working the atmosphere, it affects the working atmosphere, because the candidates whom we are selecting, he should be able or he should be capable of performing well in the organization. So that is one of the concept. So here in today's session I will take up the concept of selection and what are the selection process. So you may be thinking that in an organization you will apply for the organization and you can be immediately selected. No, that too, this is the era of competition. So wherever we any organization for that matter, okay, ಯಾವುದೇ field ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ತುಂಬ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ, and everyone is educated now ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಮೊದಲು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ಒಂದು ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಓದೋದೇ ದೊಡ್ಡ ವಿಷಯ, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ನೌ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಯೂನಿಕ್ ಇನ್ ಒನ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಅದರ್ ವೇಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದು ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫಿಕೇಷನ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ಲಿ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಡ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಾವು ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ ಇನ್ ಆನ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ that are being taken place. Okay, on the organization directly if the candidate applies we will do the interview, direct selection illa. So there are various process involved in the selection. Now let us discuss what are the process involved in the selection. Yes, to begin with, yes, so the selection process, first it is preliminary screening. What is it? Preliminary screening. So here imagine, ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, we are talking about the selection process. So before selection we have to go for recruitment, right? Recruitment in the sense we are going to search. So now we have given advertisement in the newspapers, also web publishing, everything is done. So now there are pool of applications in front of us. So first of all in selection process we are going to do this preliminary screening in the sense out of that applications we are going to sort out the application. We are going to sort out the application based on some criteria. In that we have unqualified applications, ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ, ಅಥವಾ unsuitable ಅಥವಾ unfit applications will be removed. Okay, so how this is done? Mainly because in the advertisement itself will give the criteria, what is the education qualification required, what is the percentage, or whatever the any necessary information will be provided in that advertisement. But in case due to some reasons we may receive more number of applications and which are not relevant to that particular post. So, here in preliminary screening, out of the applications received, we will remove the unfit or unqualified or unsuitable applications from the applications. Okay. So, from the total application we will remove all this unqualified and unsuitable application, so that we will be remaining with the suitable applications with us now. Okay. So, hope you are getting with this. So, this regarding preliminary screening. Preliminary screening andre preliminary and the first step. The first step we are going to do is, out of that pool of applications we are going to remove the unwanted applications, okay, based on the criteria which we have set, and we have already said it in our advertisement. So, what are the criteria, everything is said. So, based on that, yes. So, preliminary screening. Okay. Next is selection test. Okay. So, now after removing the unqualified or unsuitable applications, we have remained with the qualified or the suitable applications. Now, we cannot select all of them. Okay. So, we are in required, the number of persons required is clearly known for us. So, for the suitable applicants we are going to conduct the test. So, that is regarding the next step in the selection process, that is selection test. So, in selection test also there are various kinds of selection test. Okay. It depends upon the post of that particular organization. Okay. So, based on the post, ಯಾವ post ಗೆ apply ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ selection test ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Generally selection test will be done. So, here are some types of selection test, that is first one is intelligence test, very much important. Intelligence test ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, here the intelligence test is done mainly, it is clearly specified in the name itself, to see the intellectual or to see the intelligence of that particular person. You might be having seen in the competitive exams and all. So, ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಒಂದು ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಥರದ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ಆಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೌದು, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇನ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಕಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ, ಹೌ ಹಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. So, it shows his intelligence. Within a short time he have to solve that questions. So, it shows his intelligence. So, intelligence test is one type of selection test. Okay. The next is aptitude test. Okay. So, aptitude in the sense here, in order to check the reasoning ability or his logical ability. So, what is his thinking capacity? Okay. So, one question is given, how will predict that question? So, it may be like a reasoning irbodu, logical irbodu. Okay. So, that aptitude test is also done. Next is personality test. What is this personality? It is not regarding the height and weight, it is regarding his anger irbodu, his emotional, his personality. What is this kind of personality? Okay. So, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಕೇಳೋದು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ they will give some task that has to be performed by him. It shows his personality. So, that is also done here. So, that is regarding the personality test, and the other one is trade and interest test. What is this? Trade and interest test. What is this trade? Yes, trade is, that is mainly regarding if he is for the professional course or any technical course. So, how he can do that work. Okay. So, whatever he has studied practically, how we can apply that. So, that is regarding the trade test, and the next one is interest test. So, it is regarding interest of that particular person, not only in that particular field, andre he has applied for that post, other than that in which field he has the interest, that also will be checked here. So, that is regarding the trade and the interest test. Trade and interest test. Hope you are getting with this trade and interest test. The next is, yes, so that is intelligence test, aptitude test, personality test, trade and interest test. Okay. So, these are the different type of selection tests. So, intelligence test is to check the intelligence of that particular person, aptitude to check his knowledge, or to check his aptitude, and next is personality, to check his personality, like whether he is emotional or his anger, what are his strength and weakness will be analyzed there. Trade, it is mainly to check his professional skill and interest, other than that particular profession, what are his likely interested fields will be checked. Okay. So, that is regarding interest test. Okay. Next is Employment interview. So, what is this employment interview? See, after the next selection test, we will sort out. ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ selection test ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, but after the selection test, some will be based on the result of that selection test, some will be diluted or some will be disqualified, and those who are remaining now, for them the interview will be done. So, that is nothing but employment interview. So, he will be asked to face the interview, and employer will ask some questions related to organization or his curriculum vitae, other related irbodu, or they will ask some question to check his knowledge. Likewise, the employment interview will be taken place. Okay. So, here also after the interview they will come for some judgment, and even there also some the selection it is not done. Okay. So, the selection test is done, there also some persons will be diluted from that, and then whoever remaining in that test, they will take up the interview, and by seeing the performance of the interview, some will be taken for the next step of the selection process, and those who are not qualified, so they will be removed from that process. Okay. So, after employment interview, so if the performance is good, the certain particular candidate will be selected. Okay. Main selection, it will be taken place after the employment interview. Okay. So, once the interview is done, after discussing, the employees, they will discuss among themselves, and they will see everything, his skill, qualification, and his CV, everything. So, if it is matches, and if he is skilled, and if he is unique, he will be selected. So, once andre innu selection aglilla, so the employment interview will take place. After that, those who are selected in that particular step, so immediately their reference and background check will take place. Reference and background check. So, what is this reference and background check? So, in the CV or curriculum vitae, what we have to do, when we give our biodata, at last we have to give address and then reference, we have to give like a reference in the sense like reputed persons who know us, like it may be the college where you have studied, it may be the institution where you have studied, or it might be the institution where you have worked earlier, likewise. Okay. So, you have to give some address or some name as a reference. So, if the candidate is being selected here in the if he pass the interview, immediately his reference or his background check will be done, just like those whose name will be mentioned in that reference. So, I have applied, I have faced the selection test, I have faced the interview too, and now what they will do, they will see my reference, and I have mentioned some of the names there. So, they will give a call to them. So, they will ask about me. So, vicharisthare hegidare about that particular candidate. So, that is regarding reference and background check. So, once if they get good feedback or good response from the reference or background check, immediately they will take a good decision. Okay. So, if preferable andre ಈಗ reference and background check ಅಲ್ಲಿ if they get a favorable response from the reference check, yes, immediately the next step is selection decision. Here the employer, they will take the decision of selecting that person to the organization or selecting that person for that particular post. So, here after doing the selection test, employment interview, finally his reference check, background check, everything is done. If there is no complaints, and if he is performing well, so surely he will be selected. So, here the selection. So, before getting into this process, so you have to face all this. Okay. So, we have to go through this preliminary screening, mainly that takes place in our applications. Okay. After that, selection test, next is employment interview will take place, next reference and background check, next the selection decision. Okay. So, now yes, the particular candidate will be selected. So, he will be selected for that particular post. ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮುಗಿತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್, ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್. Okay. So, once if he is being selected for that post, he has to undergo the medical examination. Okay. So, because the medical examination cannot be done for all the candidates, mainly for some of like army irbodu, some of the jobs it requires medical examination. So, they will take up the medical examination. Even there also they have to wait for the result. If the medical examination result proves good, or if the medical examination, if it says that yes, that particular person is fit for that job, yes, surely he's been selected. Okay. So, after selection he has to undergo the medical examination. There if he is not fit, so then also he cannot be selected for, he will be not placed in that job, but if he is fit for in the medical examination, he will be selected for that job. Yes, finally it is job offer. Nodidra. So, finally after passing these stages, next it comes the job offer. It is nothing but the employee will get the letter of appointment from the employer. Andre, because in order to start the job they have to get a letter of appointment. So, that is nothing but job offer. So, here the employer, they will give a letter of appointment for that particular person to join the organization. Okay. So, because in the ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀಂಗ್ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲಿ he has to be placed in that job. For that the job offer, it is nothing but it is a letter of appointment given to the employee. Okay. And the next is contract of employment. What is this? After giving the letter of appointment, ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಗೀತು ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ. Next there is a contract of employment. What is this contract of employment? After giving the letter of appointment, so he will be officially declared as an employee of that particular organization. And even the employer, they has to give, andre they have to maintain certain documents. The employer ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, the organization, it has to maintain some of the documents. Okay. And in that they have to maintain the documents. One of the document, that is attestation. So, they have to keep everything in a file, that is contract of employment ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ. So, in a sheet of paper there will be a contract. In that the rules, regulations, okay. So, what is the term period of work, everything will be clearly mentioned. So, on what which date he is being appointed, everything. For that the employee has to sign, and it is a record, or it acts as a contract of employment. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ನಮಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲಿ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ದ ಲೆಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ officially they will declare this, I am the employee of that organization, but even they will maintain this contract of employment. This contract of employment, it is nothing but, and it is contract, and it is between the employer and employee. So, all the details like grievances irbodu, what are the rules, regulations, everything will be mentioned in that, and his biodata, his CV, everything will be enclosed. For that he has to give his attestation, and that will be maintained by the employer. So, these are all the process of a selection. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾನು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಆಸ್ ಐ ಸೆಡ್ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಎರಾ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಒಂದು ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ನಿಯರ್ಲಿ 50 ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಡ್, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಸಮ್ ಔಟ್ ಯೂನಿಕ್, ಆರ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ that is regarding the concept of selection. So, in selection is nothing but we are going to select or choose the best person or the prospective candidate for the job. And if we see the selection process, so nearly we have 8 steps in the selection process. So, starting from preliminary screening. Okay. So, we are going to sort out with the applications, unfit or ಅಂದರೆ ಡಿಸರ್ವ್ ಅಲ್ಲದ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್, ಅನ್ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫೈಡ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡನ್. ನಾಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್, some of the selection test will be mainly intelligence aptitude test that will be conducted for all the posts. So, selection test will be taken place. After that, employment interview. So, the employee will be employee ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನು, the candidate will be asked to face the interview. If we do well in the interview, his reference and background is checked through calls or through some other contacts. The reference will be checked, and if it is also good, so then the selection decision will be taken. Once he is being selected, he will be placed for the medical examination. If he passes that medical examination and if he prove fit in that, so next he will be provided with the appointment. Finally, the contract of that employment will be maintained in the organization. So, I hope you are clear with the concept. So, this is regarding the concept of selection and selection process. Thank you.